Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Reviving Mississippi. I'm your host, DeKeither Stamps. Our co-host, Mr. Jason Clark, is out today. He's down on the coast at the Mississippi Damage Prevention Conference, looking at underground pipeline safety and all those things to do with damage prevention. As we begin every show, we always ask that you remember those folks who are going through bereavement. Bereavement is a very trying situation, and you never completely get through it. So just continue to remember those folks who are going through bereavement, because every week it seems like we lose folks, but that means we got to help folks. We got to reach out to them. I know if I get to naming names, I might get in trouble, but I do want to say that Representative Alice Clark lost, several families out there have lost family members over the last couple of months. Reach back out to them. I know she lost her son recently, and several other folks have lost folks throughout the years. Just reach out to good folks. Reach out to folks long after the funeral's over to let them know you still care about them and you appreciate them, and to help them through it, because grief is hard and people carry that burden for a long time. So you got to be a friend so that you can have a friend during your time of need. Our underwriters for today's show are Mr. Micheal Jordan and Micheal Jordan Transportation Service. Mr. Micheal Jordan provides quality transportation service all over the state of Mississippi and is always looking for good people. You can find them at www.mstransportation1.com for your transportation needs. They also offer employment opportunities. So if you're looking for some part-time help to help folks out, definitely take a look at it. Also, if you want some good food versus fast food, I suggest, 9.1 can't tell you to suggest, but I suggest if you want some good food versus fast food, go and check out SuperBurgers. They always got good stuff out there. And we also, underwritten by Southern Soul Tuesdays over at MBAR. They always do great stuff. It was started off earlier this year. It was a thought we had years ago of trying to create Southern Soul in Jackson, Mississippi, and Mississippi as a whole being the hub for that. Because when you think about country music, you think about Nashville. But when you think about Southern Soul, you can't leave out Mississippi. You can't leave out the work that's happens here in Jackson, with the state of Mississippi declaring Mississippi the home and birthplace of Southern Soul. And so I just want to encourage folks, if you're around on Tuesday afternoon, they provide great work. DJ Big O, you're going to hear him later on today. Ms. Marlena Wright hosts that show over there on Tuesday. They do a great job of helping new artists climb to the top, and they have really hit the ground running, formed a good team, and they all over the country in the Southern Soul genre, and so they're on the road now. So good stuff happening at MBAR on Tuesdays from 5:30 to 7. It's right after work, so you can dive in, hear some live music. And they got it's no admission fee, and it's half off certain drinks and certain food as well. And it's over 7:30. You'll be home by 8 o'clock. So it's a great place to come see some live music on Tuesday night. Also, as far as announcements concerned, tomorrow we got some good folks that's been working hard for a long time. Several years ago, we started down the process of trying to do economic development. And y'all know me from the time I spent in the legislature and the time I spent on the city council and growing up. Economic development has always been a passion of mine. And one of the projects that we worked on for a long time, the groundbreaking is tomorrow, and it will be right in Greenville, Mississippi. Let me pull up the accurate information. I got it posted on the screen there. Let me pull up this information so we can make sure I tell you right. Please join us to celebrate our history and future of powering life in Mississippi from the Delta, Thursday, November the 7th at 11 a.m. at the Gerald Andrus Steam Electric Station. The Greenville community welcomed us a century ago as we began powering life in Mississippi. Now we invite you to a community event celebrating the 50th anniversary of Gerald Andrus Steam Electric Station and a ceremonial groundbreaking for our new power plant that will power generations to come. The press conference is at 11 a.m., followed by live blues music and a catfish lunch. Additional directions and parking information will be sent as you confirm you're going to attend. But it's going to be a great opportunity to celebrate this. What this stems from is when we were going through the negotiations for the Amazon plant, this very steam generation plant was due to be decommissioned. And some very smart people over at Entergy and inside the state government start thinking about how can we do this and benefit everyone. And since this one plant was due to be decommissioned, folks in the room started saying, "Well, let's put something there." And in a few short days, common sense prevailed, and 1/10. So the Amazon deal was $10 billion. 1/10 of that is $1 billion. And $1 billion is being invested into the Mississippi Delta for a new power generation plant. It's the largest investments in the history of the state of Mississippi. And that's going to happen tomorrow. So if you're in the area, you want to celebrate economic development, that's critical because it all starts with utilities. The more power we can produce here locally, it's going to last for generations to come. So I appreciate everybody who was involved in the decision-making process, all the staff folks in the governor's office, the legislature. It's a total team effort. When it comes to economic development in Mississippi, it's a bipartisan effort. It's folks working together. I know we see a lot of divisiveness out in the world today, but people are working together and using these opportunities to make strategic investments in places where there has been historic disinvestment. So these are major investments that are being made in places that haven't had this type of investment before. And it's a total team effort between the county board of supervisors, the city of Greenville, the folks in the community out there, up to the state level. It's just a total team effort. So I want to make sure that we celebrate this moment. Again, it'll be tomorrow, Thursday, November the 7th at 11 a.m. at the Gerald Ardress Steam Electric Station. All right, next, I wanted to bring up the elections from yesterday. I know there are a lot of people who have a range of emotions. I see Mr. Clark is chiming in. He says, shout out to Commissioner Stamps on the Revive Mississippi show. He says he's down there on the coast taking care of things today, but we appreciate Mr. Clark for all his hard work over the years. The elections are like mirrors. They show us exactly who we are, whether we like it or not. And we got work to do. I woke up this morning and headed to Holmes County today because for me, I got to get to work no matter what happens. And the Harris campaign had a short campaign for the short time period that it was taking place. It was a heavy lift asked to happen in a very short time period. And we're going to keep her family and everybody in our prayers because losing is hard. Trust me, y'all, I know. I done lost them. Y'all done see me right here on this radio station. And most of our elections are on Tuesday. So Wednesday is our show. So when I've lost them, I still show back up here on Wednesday telling you I appreciate you and thank you. So losing hurts. It hurts bad, but losing, for me personally, this is my own personal testimony. In 2019, when I lost the election for Public Service Commissioner, it hurt bad. And it had me to do some real, soul searching and figure out what I can do better. And after a period of healing and spending time with friends and family and everything, I rebounded and got back in the fight. So I encourage Vice President Harris to stay in the fight. This because you lose don't mean it's over. There's a lot of work to do, and there is a space in the American machine for the talent, skills, and abilities of everybody, because no matter if you vote Democrat or Republican, white, black, all that, it's going to take all of us to move this country forward. The thought that one group can be the only group that moves this country forward is not even accurate. It's going to take all of us to move this country forward. And as we work towards transition, these are the critical moments where things go way off course, is during transition. And that's why transition is so important. The transition process and all that is critically important. So as we go through this transition process as a nation, let's make sure that we just do what's necessary and keep the citizens in our hearts and minds. Some of the other election results that let me see, I can add this here. Some of the other election results that we were seeing last night, the U.S. Senate race with Senator Roger Wicker and Ty Pinkins. When I say Ty Pinkins saved us last year, some of the things that he was doing on his own with no assistance from anybody else. Ty Pinkins definitely has been working hard for several years. He came up short, but there is a place in Mississippi for his talent, skills, and abilities. I mean, this is a very talented young man, a decorator. When I say, now I'm not a hero. Some people look at my life and look at my military career and they say I'm a hero. I don't think I'm a hero. I know some, but Mr. Pinkins has a Bronze Star. That means that he has, they don't just hand those out because you showed up. Okay. So he is definitely a young man that's fresh back from the military, and he has great talents. So I would definitely encourage him to stay in it. I started in local government, so I'm always a proponent of folks starting in local government, but if they want to go higher, that's fine. But there is definitely a space for Mr. Pinkins in the future leadership of Mississippi. Congratulations to Congressman Benny Thompson. He won with 61.7% of the vote against Mr. Ron Eller. Congressman Thompson, has been a pillar in Mississippi politics for a long time, and was able to get 61.7% of the vote. Over in House District 4, Congressman Mike Easel won his re-election, and so did Congressman Trent Kelly. The big race, Supreme Court, Mississippi, in the Central District, Position 3, it looks like Senator Jennifer Branning and Supreme Court Justice Jim Kitchens, who is the incumbent, will be headed to a runoff in a few weeks. So let's make sure that we do what's necessary in a few weeks. If you're in the Central District, and y'all know on this show, we talk about the Central District a lot because it's the same district that I have the honor and privilege of serving in, and it's also the same district that Commissioner Willie Simmons serves in, which is the same Supreme Court district. So make sure you stay engaged, and because in 3 weeks there will be a runoff election. I know it's right before Thanksgiving, so let's make sure we do what's necessary in that regard. Let's see what else we got. We have District 2 Supreme Court, David Sullivan. He was able to outpace the incumbent, Don Bean, in that race. The appeals court race does, I don't know if it's going to go to a runoff. I got to make sure I get the right information with that one. I think it may be a runoff since no one got 50% of the vote. Harris County School Board, I see that, and these unofficial numbers that we're looking at here, it's right off of WLBT's website. See is that Harris County School Board District 3, Ms. Linda Laws and Mr. George Stewart, where Ms. Linda Laws got 55% of the vote. Congratulations, Mr. Stewart. Great young man. Let's see, Harris County Election Commission, District 3, Jamel Clark was able to outstep Mr. Jeremy Gray. Mr. Clark got 54% of the vote. Congratulations there. But Jeremy Gray had run an impressive campaign. Again, there are many people who are, just because you was not successful today don't mean that you will not be successful in the future. So stay engaged and continue to move forward. Also, I see that Miss Bridget Morgan, she was able to get, was it 50.2? Ooh, by the skin of your chin. She was able to get 50.2% of the vote. And next was Mr. Jimmy Kings and Peter Tableson. I have served alongside all three of these wonderful attorneys over my time. Mr. Tableson was the city attorney for the city of Jackson and later went to Hinds County. Mr. King has been a great attorney in the city and in the state, doing good work. He's a down home, down to earth brother. And Miss Bridget Morgan, she got 6,009 votes, getting her 50.2% of the vote. So she'll be pulling up in just a second. Also in Rankin County Judge Place 2, we have, I think that may be a runoff there between Josh McCory and Amanda Spencer. Election Commission in Madison County District 1, Ms. Helen Carney got 70.3% of the vote. And again, ladies and gentlemen, there's a myriad of folks that was on the ballot yesterday. And hey, Mr. Devin Carbon, how you doing, sir? There's a myriad of people who were on the ballot yesterday. But no matter if you were successful or not, now starts the time where we got to put our country back together, put our state back together, and move forward. In periods of uncertainty, which is where we are, it takes leaders to step forward and letting people know that there are good people still focused on providing good government. And I think we hear Miss Judge Elect coming on in. Come on in. Miss Morgan, have a seat. Oh, you on your way to mistletoe?
Yeah.
I'm represent for me. I won't be able to make it tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Miss Bridget Morgan. She's no stranger to the show, no stranger to service. First, can I say congratulations? You would know better than me.
I mean, you can say it. They haven't given me anything official.
Okay.
But you can say congratulations.
Okay. So, congratulations on a great campaign.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This was your second time.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just talking about sometimes you're not successful in the beginning and losing hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Because these campaigns, you offer yourself to the world, not knowing what to do or how to do it. And the first time you run, a lot of times you don't even know how to run.
Absolutely.
You kind of learn as you go.
Absolutely.
and the first time out, you weren't successful. But this time you had much more success than you had the first time.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to parallel that to the presidential race, where Vice President Harris was the first time run for president.
Right.
Well, when she ran for president was unsuccessful.
Mm-hmm.
And so then she became vice president. What did you learn during your first time running that benefited you this second time?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is that it was a open seat this time.
Mm-hmm.
And before it was not an open seat, right? There was a need for someone to be in the seat, but it wasn't an open seat. And then it's just those little things, like what kind of shoes to wear. Like you talked about what are they called?
The
one
I got on
the Hokas.
Yeah.
It's little things like that. They're just small.
Your brain works better when
it does. That was better. Timing it's really, it's showing up for everything really. But taking care of yourself at the same time. And then I realized it's more spiritual, really.
Oh, most definitely.
Than natural. And I think the first time, like you said, I didn't know what I was doing. But I did what I did. The first time, what you learn, and equip it with the wisdom necessary to try it again. I knew I was going to try it again.
Mm-hmm.
I was waiting on an opportunity to try it again. And so, you just learn for the first time.
So what would you say to people who may be aspirational? I know we're getting ready for municipal elections and people are kind of weighing, do I want to run for city council or mayor? Or anything? What would you say to people who are thinking about running for office?
I just say do it from your heart, right? If it's something that you really feel strongly that you can affect change in, and you can articulate that. Because when your heart is in, it's easy to articulate it. When it's not in it, you're looking for the words, and people can discern if you are genuine or not. And in this day and age, people are just tired of politics altogether. They're tired of coming out. We had a good turnout, but it could have been better. Could have been a better turnout. And I think part of that is people are apathetic now to voting, but just be genuine and be open to suggestions. People have all kinds of suggestions, and just show it where you can. Know that there's a limit, but then there's also where there's a will, there's a way. You don't have to have the machine or the money or this, that, and the other. But if God is for you, then who can be against you?
So now at this juncture, after having a successful campaign, what did you learn this time?
I mean, it's so many different things that come to mind.
Well,
but it's really just grit. I mean, it's resilience. It's just keep going. It's like you have to keep going. You just have to keep going. Nothing can stop you. You all the way up, kind of thing. You know, you got to keep going until the finish line. And even what I also learned while on campaigns, I saw other people like you yourself. You've already been elected, but the campaign never stops.
Oh, we don't stop campaigning.
And that's and that is what I learned. So that's really what I learned. I was like, what? Why are you here? It's my turn. I'm trying to get them. I'm trying to convince them to let you. But you guys are still campaigning.
Oh, we don't stop.
Yeah.
Because it shifts from campaign to service. It's always service, but it shifts. Like now, we just keep people informed of what we're doing because you don't just get elected and go crawl in the cubby hole. You got to keep folks informed. So, what are some of the things you're looking forward to now that you know that it's have been declared official, but you looking at 50.2% of the vote. It looks like it's the same kind of margin I had. I won with 50.2% of the vote. Awesome. So what are some of the things that you are aspirational about? Some things that really.
My wheels have already been turned. Let me say, on this campaign trail. Let me tell you what really. There were people that I saw particularly, and this is not a juvenile seat, but as I was campaigning, I saw a lot of young Black men, and I'm saying young men, I'm talking about like school age, who just were at a deficit.
That's right.
And I just felt drawn to them. It's about 3 or 4 of them I know for sure. And I do want to start something where I am pouring into them physically, like make sure they have haircuts, and things like that. This is this separate program. But I'm also looking forward to, just on the judge side, I'm on the bench, is to make those connections with the people who are already there and build on those relationships that I already have over the years that I've created, and to just fall in line really to do what's necessary for the county to move it forward. Some of the things I talked about was overcrowding of jails. So sit down with Sheriff Jones, see how I can assist with that. And also the chief judge, and see how I can assist him with, because that falls into what he's doing as well. And going to the board of supervisors and see how we can assist with some of those things as well, because they have to pay for the overcrowded jails. And so, like I said, what I always say what I learned from clerking was that although I may be assigned to a certain courtroom, that we're all connected. All courtrooms are connected. And so I have to be open and understand that decisions I make here can ultimately affect there or even before me. And so I'm looking forward to making those connections.
Okay. So how's everything? How's little man? I want to take a moment because your son is now Mr. 6th grade.
Mr. Spirit. He was first run up, so they made him Mr. Spirit.
Mr. Spirit over at Northwest. Talk about your son.
Ooh, that's my right-hand man. It's my campaign manager. He talked about, we said last night, he was like, we did it, Joe. We just had a joking, but he ran his campaign. I inspired him to run a campaign. And so he ran it, and then he said, Mom, it'll be cool if both of us won. And so I said, we just got to work hard. And so I made a video. He articulated the points, who I'm running, who position I'm trying to take, or not trying to take, or replace. I can't replace her. But my son is just amazing. God has done his big one with allow me as a single mom and allow me to raise a son who is articulate, who is confident, who is God-fearing and masculine. Even still, people are concerned about moms raising boys. And so I just give, God all the honor and the glory for assisting me with raising him. And so I'm proud of who I am.
Ladies and gentlemen, I tried to hire this young lady to work over the Public Service Commission. She said, no, I want to be a judge. And she wanted to be a judge so bad that she wanted to won this election so she couldn't come work at the Public Service Commission. Because you're a competent lawyer. We worked together at the city
Mm-hmm.
for a number of years. And so now, I know you heard you said the same stuff over and over again, all the interviews you've done. So I'm trying to pick apart some things that are a little bit different because the last time you were here, I think you gave your best interview.
Oh, yes, yes. And I got to find and repost it because that was the most. And I said, now when he interviews me, I know it's going to be like, it's going to be deep. And I love that interview. I love the interview.
Well, now that we got the preliminary stuff out of the way, talk about what you want to say, because the election yesterday at the federal level, so many people had hopes and dreams tied into that election. And I see people who feel defeated, cast away, feel like the majority does not see them or hear them or value them or desire to protect them. And I shifted and started working in local races because I realized that the federal elections normally have people knocking on doors. They set up offices in the state and have people doing phone banking. When I saw none of that was happening, I shifted all of my focus to local races. So now you're the hope of a lot of those very same people. Talk about that.
That's exactly why I was hoping people saw my heart in that regard. Sub-District 2 is often one of those forgotten parts of Jackson, right? Sub-District 1 has growth, Sub-District 3 has growth, but you got to cross 2 to get to 3 and 2 to get to 1. Right. But some kind of way we skipping it. And it's the physical aspect of Sub-District 2 is forgotten about. And the people are still holding on, still hoping, regardless, right? They're still trying to survive in a deficit. And I talked about that as well. But nonetheless, I wanted to show up as one of those candidates who, again, we're not talking politics. We're talking about, I see you. That if you keep going, we'll get there. That, if you see someone who's genuine and who's looking out for you, and I want to look out for them, it reminds me of myself. Who I was when I was younger. That's what I talk about. I'm not too far removed, even if the career changes. I still know what that struggle is like, right? And where it comes from. And so we have to have a game plan, how to protect ourselves. And I'm glad you pointed out. There's so much energy that goes into federal elections, and then you leave the local elections to fend for themselves. And so I'm glad that you pointed that out, and I'm hoping that nothing should stop me from supporting Sub-District 2 and showing they have someone that sees us, right, and that can put us out there to get the necessary eyes on us to help us move forward.
Well, beyond that, though, beyond Sub-District 2, I don't believe that as a man, I got the voice to heal what has been damaged in the hearts and minds of women across this world.
Well, so
with your voice and your experience, speak to that pain and how we can help to nurture it towards healing.
So you do that one woman at a time. So the system is so big, the issue is so big. If you go in and say, I'm trying to fix this whole problem by saying it's the one right thing, or doing the one right thing is not going to happen, you're going to feel overwhelmed, you're going to feel defeated every time. You pick your part of the world and you advance yourself. So for example, is you as the commissioner, right? You will have the opportunity to hire women on, give them opportunities. The women you come into a room with, you have the opportunity to respect them. You respecting Shirley at a breakfast meeting is a step forward. That's right. You taking up for Shirley if somebody is going against her is a step forward. And so for me, when I was a defense attorney, it was like, at first I went in, I can change the whole world, I can change the whole system, it's broken. And you get overwhelmed and you're like, oh, it's not working. But when you take one case at a time, one person at a time, you realize, oh, I fixed it. Okay, on to the next, who's next? And I think we got to start with small steps at respecting women. But you say that, but I feel like locally, we're all for women. Federally is the issue. And I'm not sure what needs to change or how the bigger voting pool turns around and says, okay, we don't want a woman. But the smaller voting pool is like, yeah, we're looking for a woman to lead. I'm not sure how they can change it because she had because here's the thing, when Biden ran, he got our vote because he put a black woman on the ticket.
Mm-hmm.
So now the black woman comes forward and then she puts a white man on the ticket and it's like, oh, you still not enough. And so I don't really know what we can do at a federal level, but I do see some changes at the local level where people they're not afraid of electing women at the local level.
I know intimately well.
Yeah.
I've served with some amazing women. And I would say this, it is much harder for women to serve than men.
That'll be a different show.
That's a whole show by itself. Because I've been in this game for a little bit of time now, and I can see folks like Miss Etta Jean Carr or Miss Peggy Calhoun, who is together from head to toe every day. And I just want to say hats off for putting yourself up to serve. Hats off for rebounding, because it takes a lot to step back when you've been pushed back and you feel cast away from the world. Like, they don't like me. Why would I do it? But it takes a little bit of courage.
It also takes you to be people-centered. When for me, the focus was like, okay, I know who I am. I know I can walk in any room and I can be who I need to be, right? And I'm the same. That's the other thing. I'm the same person in any room.
That's it. That's the key.
I'm the same person. I was talking about being here since I was 17 years old. So I started working at the grocery store. Those same people voted for me. Some people I've seen 20 years ago that was secretary at the hospital, they voted for me. You know what I mean? I saw them again. And so it's being the same person in every room with everybody. And then you build your own reputation up for being a genuine person that I can believe in, and all the politician stuff can go away. But just being consistent, I just want to, so that you two showed up and showed out. And I want to say thank you to them for believing in me and for consistently showing up for me on Tuesday.
And I have to say this, brothers, out there, there are good folks, get behind, support. And I normally don't endorse in judge races because judges can't endorse me.
Yeah, you said that.
But you did a great job. Hats off to you, your whole team, and we got a bright future in the Hinds County Judiciary. So I know you got to go to a high class banquet. I'm not gonna make it because I'm still in cargo pants and
it's my first time going. Never been before.
It's what you gonna walk in a winner. And I'm proud of you.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And then congratulations to Bryce, right?
Bryce, my nephew.
Mr. Northwest. And so look, Jackson looked back at him and Jackson said, yeah, I'm running for Mr. Northwest. I said, oh my God, I don't get any ideas. So they were inspired. He and his friend were inspired by Bryson. So
okay, well, good.
All right, thank you.
Congratulations again. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Attorney Bridget Morgan. She is in the lead. Her race has not been called yet or whatever to that regard. The results are still unofficial. They're still counting affidavit votes since it's such a slim margin. And y'all know I know well about slim margins. And she's at the same margin I was at when I was in the district. Is bigger, of course, but she's at 50.2. And they still count votes down there. So please, keep them in your prayers in the whole process. And we're going to open the call-in lines. The call-in number is 601-948-5950. That's call number 601-948-5950. If you won or lost, call in and thank the voters for coming out to vote for you. I'm a firm believer that after your election is over, you should always come back before the voters to tell them thank you. You should do that immediately, and that's just part that I feel is the duty of being a part of the process, because people donated money, people donated time, people donated energy, and just tell them thank you. So if you like to call in, or if you want to call in and highlight your candidate of choice, you can do so as well. Again, the call-in number is 601-948-5950. 601-948-5950. I also want to go back to these election results. There are a couple other elections down in, they're not on this website, but I will bring that report back to y'all tomorrow. I think it's on this. Don't see it right now, but in regard, I see we got tuned in Mr. Donna Owens and Mr. Timothy Brown. We appreciate Mr. Brown for all his hard work as well. Timothy Brown's always a great friend. Checks on me almost every day. I'm gonna call you tonight, Tim, when I get off the radio. So I appreciate you for always being a good friend. And we were up in Holmes County, Mississippi today. Holmes County has a wonderful triad meeting. The sheriff there, Ms. Cunningham, Ms. Land, and just everybody. I don't name names, I get in trouble again. But the whole team up there, the SALT team, senior citizens, folks from up in Goodman and Ebenezer and Chula and Lexington and Durant and everywhere in between. They have a wonderful triad meeting up there. And we took our team up there, myself, Mr. Jared Morrison, who is in economic development. We toured the industrial site up there on the corner of Highway 12 and I-55 to do a site assessment, because that's one of the locations that I'm trying to get more economic development in. For those who may not know, our team is surveying all 22 counties and the industrial parks inside of each one of those counties, and looking at ways that we can upgrade them to make them more marketable for future economic development projects. The state put a nice sizable amount of money in site development, and we want to get as many of the industrial sites in the 22 counties of the Central District prepared with those site development resources. So we're competing for those resources with each county across the state. But site development is going to be key. So every mayor, alderman, supervisor, we also went and toured. We went by the location. Yazoo County has a piece of that I-55 corridor as well. And so we'll be looking at all those industrial opportunities that exist across all 22 of our counties, because we're in a competition, ladies and gentlemen. This is a race for life. We cast a large vision across the whole state of Mississippi. And that vision basically says this: we will create $100 billion in economic development and create 100,000 jobs. And we're going to do that with this groundwork that we're doing now. We're well on our way. We're already about 22% of our goal within months of our first year of our first term. And we've already at about 20% of our job creation goal as well. So we're well on our way. We're in the campaign, you just talk about what you want to do, but we're well on our way of doing those things that we talked about. We were down in every day we're in a different county, so we bounce around everywhere. Again, tomorrow we'll be in Washington County for the groundbreaking of that power generation plant that's going to add resiliency and redundancy to the power and make it more reliable in Washington County, but it's also going to feed several economic development projects that we have going on. Again, ladies and gentlemen, calling number 601-948-5950. We got about 10 minutes left to go on the show. If y'all got a question for me about anything, I will gladly give you what I got. If you have a question about anything, give me a call at 601-948-5950. Again, that's 601-948-5950 for anybody who wants to ask me a question, because I am here. I lend this time to everybody. And we've been here since 2013. So that'll give us 11 years that we've been sitting behind this microphone giving updates on a weekly basis, just to keep you informed, just to be here long after it's over. And I know there are a lot of stories that are out there. We got federal stories, we got local stories. People have been sending me, getting messages while I'm sitting here about things that's going on locally. Let me say this, and I want to say it clear so that everybody can hear it from me. In times of turmoil, the ones who are able to keep a cool head and keep their, let me catch this call. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Hey, this is to the Brian. Go to Steven.
Hey, Mr. Brown.
I'm good. I sent a chat about you can't give me a call. I'm over our campaign that's in me.
Okay. I think her campaign may be over, but I will send her your number.
Yeah, because I understand when I just got the king for 3 weeks this month.
Okay. All right. Well, I will send her your number, Mr. Brown.
Okay, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I had a good day today. It was nice. I ain't enjoy myself. Just call you and let you know, I forgot to call you later. Check with her. She gave me a call. I work on her campaign in 3 weeks. I'm also supporter. I did vote for her this past September.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Bye.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, the calling number 601-948-5950. 601-948-5950. We got about 9 minutes left to go on the show. If you got a question or a comment about something, feel free to call in. And if you're a candidate, call in and thank the voters for voting. Trust me, it's important because you may want them to vote for you again in the future. And sportsmanship is important. People look for that. People look for sportsmanship. People look for an America that they remember. Right now, this is not the America we grew up in. This is not how things have traditionally been. The division and discourse that we have today is very disheartening. Today's a somber day for me as well, because I have some friends, some very close friends that have been pillars of my life for a long time. Chief Warrant Officer 4 John Priester and Chief Warrant Officer 2 Miles Henderson. 18 years ago today, those two young men, they were young. They died in Iraq, and I knew them. They were my friends. And they lost their life in defense of this nation. And I say this to everyone. Let's build a nation that will make my friends proud because of the sacrifice that they made, that their family made. My message to everybody is simply that people have paid a huge price for us to do what we do. So let's make sure that we respect that sacrifice by the government we deliver back to the people. 22 veterans a day commit suicide. Let me say that again. Make sure they hear me, Handy. 22 veterans a day commit suicide. Now, I don't know all the reasons they commit suicide, but if 22 school teachers committed suicide a day, it'll be a world of all kinds of stuff. If 22 football players committed suicide every day, if 22 NFL players committed suicide every day, the world will be trying to figure out what's going on. If 22 basketball players committed suicide every single day, the world would stop. But 22 veterans have committed suicide every day for years. Now, one of the reasons I believe that this happens is because they come back to America and they turn the news on and they see the sacrifices that they made. They see their children. They see their children have been without their father for years. They see the brokenness that has. They see the relationships that have been wasted because they've been gone a year here, 6 months there, a year here. Do you know what that does to your family? See, most of these folks can't even leave their house for a week or 2 weeks. See, back in the day, you would go to Vietnam and you would do 1 tour, 2 tours, maybe 3 tours at most. I got friends who have done 15 deployments. Even me. In my short, abbreviated career in the military, I spent 9 years of the 12 years I was in service somewhere fighting somebody. My oldest daughter, she missed me for 9 years of her life. You don't think that hurt? You don't think the relationships there, right? So when soldiers and Marines and veterans come back to this country and they look at the price that they paid, they are dealing with the ramifications of that service. And they see the country participating in unacceptable behavior and being this divisive and polarizing on the backs of that service, fighting each other and not realizing or submitting to the fact that our major enemy is China. It is not the folks sitting here looking at each other. But we spend so much time fighting each other in America that 22 veterans a day commit suicide because of what they see when they come home. They didn't commit suicide in the war. When they saw their buddies dying, blood all over them, patching people up, they didn't commit suicide in the war. Or some do, but the majority of the overwhelming majority of them commit suicide when they come home. And they end up drinking, drugs, homeless, and the whole 9 yards. And we got folks around here not even appreciating that, not even appreciating their sacrifice by their actions during elections, their actions while in office, and their actions as they live inside of this America that's fortified on the backs of these soldiers and these service members and those service members' families that have made. So act better, everybody. Do better so that we can produce a country that we can be proud of. We must look above and rise above our lower level differences and deliver to the world the America that the world deserves. A shining star of democracy and a shining star of how to treat people and how to work together. Because if we don't, you think it's bad now? If we keep going down the polarizing and divisive road that we have been going on for several years, it's going to be even worse. And my last point I want to make today is simply this. Everyone should be listened to, heard, and respected. Everyone. No matter if you're extreme right or extreme left. But I fundamentally believe that 10% of both sides of the spectrum are too extreme to make decisions. They should be heard, but they're drowning out that middle 80% of the population. Common sense, church-going, hard-working people that's trying to move this country forward, trying to move the world forward, are being drowned out by the extremes of both ends. And it's time for all of us that's in what's called the mighty middle to stand up and say, hey, we good, hardworking people that will work together, can work together, and will have to work together to make decisions to move this world forward. We can no longer be the laughing stock of the world because of our emotional or our political. We must be guided by something deeper, something of deeper and greater substance, something that's given to you by God that's in all of us. We must dig down and find that guiding light, that God spirit that's within all of us. And we must use that as our guiding light to do what's right, to move this world forward. We can no longer accept low-level activities, low-level thought processes, and low-level vibrations, we must rise above to a higher level of vibration, a higher frequency, because this low frequency that we've been operating under is showing itself in very negative ways. Again, I want to say thanks to everybody who continue to tune in to us. Even though you don't call in, y'all call in on Ali Shamsuddin's show, you'll call in on Felicia Tripp's show, on a pop-up show, but y'all don't call me that much no more. Y'all don't let me no more. But I guess what? I love y'all, and a daggone thing you can do about it. I want to end by recognizing underwriters. The Underwriter for Today's show, Mr. Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan Transportation Service. You can go to www.mjstransportation1.com for your transportation needs. Also, if you want some good food versus fast food, I suggest WMPR can't tell you what to do, but I say, sometimes I want some good food and I go with SuperBurgers. Also on Tuesdays, Southern Soul Tuesdays over at M-Bar, hosted by Miss Marlena Wright and DJ Big O. You last caller today, call. What's your question or comment?
Man, my comment, man, my name is Nebraska Shelton, man, from Vicksburg, Mississippi, brother. Hey, you most definitely right. And when all this election going on and all that, well, only thing I gotta say about that election is, you knew who was gonna get in there anyway. So it's for us black people to stick together and stay strong, brother.
That's right. I appreciate you, Brother Shelton.
It's for us black people to stay strong and stick together. And hey, if we killing each other every day and want to get into it with each other every day, that's the white folks gonna do too.
We got a lot of work to do, brother.
And Miss Kamala, hey, she ain't for us. She wanna put.
Get off my phone. Get off my phone. Get off my phone, brother.
I'm so glad. Thank you.
Hey, brother, I love you, but we don't agree on that one. All right. So, as I end every show, I always say, never let anybody put you in a position where you don't love your own people. I ain't saying you gotta like them. Okay, I got a bunch of folks I don't like, but I will never put myself in a position where I don't love my own people. Because when you don't love your own folks, you're part of the very oppression we're trying to lift ourselves out of. I love you, Jackson. I love you, Mississippi. Handy, get us out of here, man.